Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is John Shea. I reached out to John Lee Dumas in regards to helping him create a tutorial for how to use Hangouts on Air, Google Hangouts on Air for recording your interviews, whether or not you're going to be putting them on YouTube or you'd like to do this just for audio for your podcast. Hangouts on Air should work really well for you. To give a little bit of a backstory, I originally used Skype for my interviews, and what ended up happening is I did an interview with somebody using a tool called VodBurner for the computer for PC, and I ended up losing the interview. Something happened with the interview. The recording. I don't know what exactly happened, but we lost the entire recording, and it took me about 3 months to get that guy to come back on the show. So ever since, I kind of lost faith in Skype and using that recorder. I know there's a lot of people who use Macs with their recording, and they use another program called Ecamm Recorder, which I've heard is great, but I have a PC, so that really wasn't an option for me, and I wasn't really willing to go out and buy a Mac just to do interviews. So I've had a lot of success using Google Hangouts, so today that's kind of what I'm going to show you how to use. And what you're going to want to do, I'm going to just dig right into this and show you how you're going to be able to set this up. Head over to Google, type in Hangouts on Air. You'll see the very top result. It's going to be Hangouts on Air. So we're going to head over here, and now you're going to see Start a Hangout on Air. I'm going to highlight it just so you see it. This is the button you're going to want to click. So Start a Hangout on Air. Once this loads, I'll center the screen a little bit more for you. What I like to do, just as a heads up, what's going to happen is when you initially record your episode, it's going to upload to your default YouTube account. I have two YouTube accounts. One is for my show, Voices of Marketing, so that's the name of the YouTube channel, and linked under the same Google account, I also have one under my own name, John Shea. So as you see here, let me highlight this. It actually notes it in this box here. So it says the Hangout on Air will be broadcast on Google Plus by John Shea and on your YouTube account, John Shea. It's possible you can change this, but I actually do something I'll explain that it does not really matter what account it gets published to. I actually had even do an interview once under my girlfriend's account, and it really does not matter. I'll show you how to get around that. But what you're going to want to do is under Name Hangout on Air, what I typically do is just name it based on the interviewer's name, like whoever I'm interviewing. So let's say if I was doing an interview with John Lee Dumas, this is what I would do. John Shea interviews John Lee Dumas. Now the reason I do this is basically it gives me an easy way to be able to go back and reference and search and look at my YouTube account. This is going to get edited later. I can actually go back and edit it. So something else that you could typically do, you could add, like let's say I was starting this and I was going to go invite John to the Hangout. I could add his name here. Like I could type in John Lee Dumas and then send him the invite. But the problem I've had with this is people sometimes don't receive this email or this notification, and some people don't have like their main emails linked to this. I know for John, like this email, he would get this and it wouldn't be a problem, but other people I've had some struggles with. So there's another way I'm going to show you how to get around that. So we're actually not going to invite any guests here. We're going to do Start Hangout on Air. Once this loads, I'll show you what we're going to do. Sorry if you kind of see me like cut off here, but I'm going to go up to the top here. And what you're going to have, first off, when you go to invite your guests, there's going to be a URL here at the very top. You're going to go and copy and paste this link. Now, what I typically do is when I invite guests onto my show, I'll take this link up here. Here, I'm going to double check just so everyone knows what I'm talking about. This link up here, you're going to take that and you're actually going to go and when you invite your guests, I like to send them a message and meet up with them on Skype first. And once they're on Skype at the time of the interview, I just say hello, how's it going, and I send them a link, that very link right there, and that will allow them to join the Hangout. I don't have to send that invite at the beginning. Now, the next thing I'll do is once they join this Hangout, what you're going to want to do is set up what they call a Hangout Toolbox. let me show you how this works. So on the left-hand side, I haven't really showed it much. This is a kind of a drop-in that gives you all these options. So you have chat, you can do screen sharing, you can do Q&A with like, if you have a live audience and you want to do question and answer, you can capture like screenshots. Cameraman is basically like options for, guests and broadcasts and things like that. Most of this is kind of straightforward. I mean, if you go through here and just poke around, you'll figure it out. The big one that I feel like a lot of people don't really understand too much, and just figuring out these, even though it's so basic, I've had some struggles when inviting people into the interviews, and it's good to kind of know how this works so you can guide people through it really quickly and then just get started right on the interview. But this Hangout Toolbox, I'm going to load this up, and let me drag the screen. So you're going to see up here on the right, I'll highlight it, this Hangout Toolbox option up here in the top right. Once you have that, you're going to want to click on, there's going to be a little photo up here. It looks like a little man in a portrait. And this is what's called the lower third. So I don't know if I've showed it much, but basically what I do is your name will be in here by default. And then what you can do is put in like the URL of your website. If you even really wanted to, you could put it next to your name. It might make it a little bit bigger. Let me show you how it displays since I'm kind of moving the screen around. So if you look down here, you'll see that I've got a photo of me, which is from my Google Plus profile, my name, and then my web URL. Now what I like to do is when I invite guests, I'll actually show them how to do this. I'll just guide them through it really quick and tell them where to go and let them set it up so when people are watching this on YouTube, if you do decide to publish it on YouTube, then people have an idea of who your guests are and who you are, and it just looks a lot more professional. That's really pretty much the basics of this. I mean, there's some other stuff in Hangouts that you can do, but this is really all you'll need for recording. The next thing you're going to want to do is at the very bottom here, I'll move this down, and I will draw this just so you see. At the bottom here, you're going to have Start Broadcast, this button here. What you're going to want to do is when you start a broadcast, to go live, it's actually going to take it. There's a 10-second countdown, and once that broadcast starts, you'll be live and you start your recording. What I like to do is with my guests, I'll tell them, like, let's say I was interviewing John, I would just say, hey John, I'm going to hit start now. There's a 10-second countdown, and then we'll fire off and we'll be live. So the other thing to keep in mind with this is when you're about to end the actual interview, you can end the broadcast, but the guest will stay in the actual Hangout, and you could continue chatting after the fact. So it's really great. It's actually it's one advantage over Skype in my opinion, because you wouldn't have to go back and like edit that out later. You can just record the actual interview and then cut it out. So that's pretty much the basics. Now I want to show you some of the advanced stuff that I do and how I record these. So I've got a program that I use to take my interviews off of Google. So let me actually go over. I'm going to show you. This is one interview that I did. Let me refocus the screen here. So here's one that I recently did. John Shea interviews Michael O'Neill, exactly how I named it. And what I do is the thing with the Hangouts, and I'll show you here. Once this is basically pre-uploaded automatically. This section here is normally where you'd see the view count in your videos, and you don't get that with the Hangouts. So what I do is two things. I want this to be on my Voices of Marketing channel, whereas right now it's on my John Shea channel. You can see here. I don't want it to be on this channel. So what I'll do is I have a program. I paid $30 for it. Let me bring it up here. It's called Wondershare All My Tube. What I can do is take the URL from YouTube, paste it into this program. It will download a copy of my interview. Here's one that I've got right now. I'll just highlight it real quick. This is one that I did with a fellow named Eric Deckers. It'll download a full copy of the video from the Hangout, and then I can go and convert this into an MP3. If I convert, I have tons of options. I could even put it for the iPad or whatever I want. You can even do different audio type files, whatever the case, different devices. But I convert this into MP3, and that's the copy I use for my podcast. Now, the other thing with this program that's really great is you can take the video and download it, and then the video copy, let's say this one, here's my interview I did with Eric. I can take this and re-upload it to my Voices of Marketing YouTube channel, and then from there I'll be able to go and edit it. So let me go switch. I'll move the screen up so you can see the top right here. I can switch account, go to my Voices of Marketing channel. Let me pause Michael here. And this is actually, oh, I'm still in the old video, so hold on a second here. If I go to Video Manager under my Voices of Marketing account, you'll see I actually just published this today. Today is Sunday, but here's an interview I did with Michael O'Neill, and what I was able to do is I can go in here and actually edit the name, so it's no longer John Shea Interviews Michael O'Neill. I have, a full title. I can edit the post. It's now under my Voices of Marketing channel, and I also now have the view count, which I feel kind of gives some people more of an incentive to watch, I suppose. So that's pretty much how I do my interviews. There's not really too much else to it. I'll show you in another video. You're going to see how I kind of do some of the editing with the actual MP3 for the podcast. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.